Alright guys, I'm the NFL Addict, and today I will be making my record predictions for the 2021 Miami Dolphins. And before we get started, if you're noticing that my voice sounds different, I am a little sick right now, so and if you can't notice it, then well, good for you. But let's go ahead and start talking about the Dolphins. Make sure you like and subscribe, do all that stuff, because I am going to be doing one for every single team. I'm already almost 3/4 of the way done with the AFC, so this is going a lot faster than I thought it would. Alright, so Miami is a team that really did a lot for its offense. Not a lot, but it definitely did the most for its offense this season over its defense. So they went out, they got two good weapons with Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle. They also showed that they trust Tua by not signing another starting caliber quarterback that could compete with him. They only signed Jacoby Brissett, and there's no chance he starts unless something catastrophic happens. They did lose a couple defensive players, and I feel like their defense got a bit worse over this offseason, which is not a good thing. However, their offense is definitely very good, and this is going to be a very important year for Tua to prove that he has what it takes to be this team's franchise and the future of this team. They do have a tough division with Buffalo and New England, and they do have a pretty, I'm looking around, they do have a pretty tough schedule. I mean, they've got to play the whole AFC South. They've got some rough games, so it'll be interesting to see if they can win enough games to maybe even win a division. Who knows? But in week one, they go into New England, who is another team that completely built up their offense, but it's the Dolphins times 50. They got themselves probably a top 5 tight end duo. I've heard a lot of people say they're possibly the best, but I don't really think that. They also went out, they got Nelson Aguilar, they got Kiki Cutie, and New England really completely bumped up that offense way above where it used to be. So I could definitely see these guys splitting, and I'm probably going to have them splitting in Week 18. It's just in Week 1 I'm going to have New England get this win. And I'm not gonna make this one a win just yet. I'm gonna wait until I get there because I like to kind of make like a narrative, like, oh, they start the season 0-1, and then they, oh, now they're 6-2 and they have to have a tough game next. I like doing stuff like that. In week 2, they have a game against the Bills, who, if you couldn't tell by the video I made, or just looking down here and see how well I have how well I have the Bills, I think the Bills are probably going to be a Super Bowl contender next year. They're probably the second best team in the AFC, just behind the Chiefs, and it's probably really close. So I mean, I feel like that Buffalo defense, it took a slight dip this past season, but other than that, they have an amazing team, and I think they'll get the win here against Miami, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them sweep in Week 8. Then in Week 3, they start off 0-2. Things aren't looking too good. They just lost 2 straight divisional games, so that division title isn't looking too good. And now they have to go into Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is their first draft pick this year wasn't good in the slightest. I'm trying to see what I have them at already. Yeah, 0-5. I don't think the Raiders are going to be any good this season, and I'm going to have Miami get their first win against them. Two rough divisional matches. Then they go into Las Vegas. They get a win there. Now they move on to a home game against the Colts. And the Colts are going to be pretty good next season, I think. Well, by pretty good, I mean not terrible. I think Carson Wentz won't be as bad as he was last year because he is back with Frank Reich, and he does have a much better offense. However, I definitely think that Carson Wentz is a big step down from Philip Rivers, so I think the Colts as a whole will be worse. I feel like the Colts will be worse, but Carson Wentz will be a lot better. And I just really like that Colts defense. I already said that I don't much like that Miami Dolphins defense other than their secondary. Their front seven does kind of worry me. So I'm going to give Indianapolis the win here. And they have a tough game against the Super Bowl champions. And I do really think that the Dolphins are going to be good. It's just that, you look at this opening schedule and it's rough. But they go up against Tampa Bay, and I don't really see a situation when they win. Anytime I talk about the Buccaneers, you can always say, oh, well, if Tom Brady has an off game, this whole team goes down the drain. And yeah, that is true. So if he does have an off game, then, but I'm going to have them lose this. So now they're starting off 1-4, but I'm looking, they definitely got this. This is probably the hardest part of their season. I can see them going 0-5 in this stretch. I could see the Raiders possibly beating them. And by the way, when I finish on my normal predictions, I am going to do worst case scenario, and I am going to be doing best case scenario. So if you don't like what I'm doing here, maybe you'll like one of those. Or if you're a Dolphins fan, you'll probably like best case scenario better. Now they went to Jacksonville. They had kind of a break. As you can see here, I don't like Jacksonville at all. I think they're terrible. And I'm going to give Miami the win here. So now they jump up to 2-4. They see that, they've got a couple games they can probably win coming up, and then they got a tough stretch to end the season. But I already said I'm probably have them split down here, so things are looking kind of good. They had 4 rough losses. They got to put all that behind them. Now they're 1-0. Just ignore all this. Then the Falcons come to town, and I feel like they just didn't do enough with their defense. And, Kyle Pitts is good, but a quarterback is better for the Dolphins, in my opinion. I'm going to give Miami the win here at home against the Falcons. And now they're almost back to .500, but they have a tough game against the Bills, and I am going to have the Bills sweep them. The Bills are just so far above them. I'm sorry. They're Super Bowl contenders. They're doing their own thing. They're demolishing teams, and Miami is just another little bump. I could see them split. Probably in best case scenario, I have them split. But if I did, I would have them win this game. Because anytime I have a team split, it's the home team who's winning. And if you've watched any of my videos, you've probably heard that speech 50,000 times. They have a home game against Houston. They stole Will Fuller from Houston, and now he's going back. Well, unless he's still... I don't know how long his suspension is, but I'm just going to assume that it's not going to be 9 games. They lost J.J. Watt. They lost Will Fuller. And they're really just a broken team right now. They had, I think, the least amount of draft picks this season. No, I think the Seahawks had the second least amount of draft picks this season. They didn't do anything over the offseason other than lose players and lose good players at that. So Miami gets the win, beats Houston, and now they've gone from 2-4 and looking bad to 4-5. They've worked their way back up. They've gone 3-1 in their past 4. And they definitely have a really tough game against the Ravens. This one, I feel like, is going to be a really good one. These two teams are teams that I feel like will be kind of in the same situation. Maybe not record-wise, but in talent-wise right now. I don't know how I don't know. I guess I at one point I knew what the Ravens schedule looked like, but I feel like this will be a pretty good game. I'm very happy that it is a primetime game on Thursday. Unless the dude who makes these, by the way, playoffpredictors.com is what I use, completely free. I think it has a couple ads somewhere, but yeah, I see one down here. But this may come as a surprise to people. I'm actually going to have Miami win this one. I just like their offense a lot more than, well, not a lot more, but I feel like they're kind of evenly matched. And this is a game that Miami really needs to win. And I'm going to give this one to Miami. But now they're back to 5-5. They have a stretch of 3 games that they probably, a stretch of 2 games. I don't know what that is. Yeah, there it is. It's gone. I'm gonna have them beat the Jets. The Jets are kind of in the same situation as Jacksonville. They're just so bad. I mean, the only win that the Jets have so far is against the Jaguars. The Jets are gonna be bad this year. Now they have a home game against Carolina. They've come back from a 2-4 start, and they have gone 2-4 to 6-5. They've gone 4-1. Now Carolina's coming into town with a Sam Darnold, who I think will be better this season because I don't know what this is. Whatever. I'm going to have Miami win this one. I like Miami's offense a lot better than I like Carolina's. Am I getting like viruses all over my computer? I don't. Give me a second, guys. I'm so sorry about this. I'm sick, and now this is all going wrong. There we go. I'm going to give Miami the win here. There we go. I guess this will just be here. I don't even have Facebook, so whatever. Now they have a tough game against the Giants. The Giants... They went out, they got themselves Kyle Rudolph. They went out, they got themselves a lot of good players for that offense. And now Daniel Jones has all the weapons he needs to succeed. And if Daniel Jones has a rough season this season, I feel like the Giants should just drop him. However, I think he will have a pretty okay season, enough to get a win over Miami. Miami falls right before their bye week. Now they're 7-6. Can I click X on this? Is it like a fake X or something? There we go. There we go, folks. I did it. So now they're 7-6. All right, they've had a really good past couple of games. They've gone 5-2 in their past 7. Now they just have to finish off strong. They have a kind of rough stretch here to end it all, but they have their bye week. They're ready to prepare. I think they can sweep the Jets. I don't think that's too far-fetched. And they go to New Orleans, and I know a lot of Dolphins fans are going to say that this should be an instant Miami pick, but really, I feel like the Saints are becoming one of the most underrated teams because they did lose Drew Brees and they did lose, Janoris Jenkins, and a lot of players were cap casualties, but they did still keep a lot of their good players on their team. One of those being Jameis Winston, who sat behind Drew Brees, had a whole year to fix his decision making. I think this will be a close one. And to be honest, I like New Orleans defense more, so I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give this one to New Orleans. I'm sorry. Which is their first one I'm giving them yet. So now they're 8-7. a tough game against the Titans, who, if you can look over here, I think are going to be really good this season. They're hanging on that winning record. Right now, they're probably in a big battle for the wild card spots. This is probably going to be a very interesting one. I'm going to give this one to Tennessee just because I like their offense a lot. They went on a slight decline this past year. They lost a lot of weapons and didn't do anything to replace them. So that is a bit of a dip. However, I think this will be close, and this is one that Miami could definitely win, but I'm going to give this one to Tennessee. Now they're 8-8, and I do still think they definitely will still be in the conversation, whatever, for the playoffs. Obviously, the division's out of the question right now, but even when I haven't done any of these teams, it's still saying that the Dolphins are only at the 8th seed. And I'm going to give Miami the win here against New England. Like I said back in week 1, if you can remember that far back, I'm going to have them split. So now they're 9-8. They get a winning record, and it's mainly due to the tough schedule that they had that they ended up this bad. But now we need to go through worst case scenario, and then we ended off on best case scenario. And again, before you start yelling at me about my worst case scenario picks, this is not likely. This is if everything goes wrong, if Tua plays terribly, if Jalen Waddle is a bust, if Will Fuller plays bad coming off of his suspension and he just is done. All that stuff. No way. I'm not going to say their whole team gets injured or whatever, but worst case scenario, I'm probably going to have Las Vegas win this one. Baltimore definitely could win this one. I'm thinking I could see Atlanta win this one. And New England could get the sweep. That's about as bad as it can get. Well, I guess I can see Carolina win. So wait, no, that's too far. That's a bit more. That's too much of a stretch to have Carolina beat them. So 5-12 is absolutely as bad as it's gonna get, in my opinion. If you're a Dolphins fan and y'all go 5-12, that's like Tua is a bust. You wasted the past couple of years. Jalen Waddle, y'all wasted the past 2 drafts on rookies who aren't gonna do anything. So, yeah, now I'll give you back those wins. All right, whatever. Again, this is not what I think will happen. This is, I think, the worst thing that could possibly happen. Back to 9-8. Now, let's go through best case scenario. It's kind of the same deal. This is far off. Don't start getting way too excited. I think that's what I think is going to happen. Let's go ahead and get started. I could see them sweep New England, and I could see them split with Buffalo. I could see them beat Indianapolis. So I could see them go, instead of 1-4 in their first 5, I could see them going 4-1. And then they could beat the Giants and New Orleans, and that's as good as it gets. Tua Tagovailoa, he goes out in his second year. He has one of those great leaps. He turns into a superstar. Jalen Waddle is as good as he was in college, if not even better. And this team just starts clicking, and they become a Super Bowl contender next year after a good offseason. That's best case scenario. And again, if you're, a Bills fan who's watching this to see me trash on the Dolphins or something, this isn't likely. I think that this is probably less likely than the worst case scenario, but that means nothing. So, yeah, let's go ahead and put all these back. I'm sorry to do this to you, but, I just kind of have to. I can't make y'all go 14-3. So, yeah, y'all's possible records, in my opinion, this is possible in the, area of reality, whatever the heck. I think it goes from 5-12 to 14-3. So y'all got a 9-game range there, in my opinion. So that's pretty good. Not good, but it's a lot bigger than a lot of other teams. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're mad at me for making y'all go 9-8, again, it's a lot due to your kind of rough schedule. But maybe come watch me predict the Jets, because as you can see here, if you're a Dolphins fan and you don't like the Jets, you might want to watch my Jets prediction videos, because that's gonna be getting a lot of hate from a lot of Jets fans. So that can really help me out. So just think about it. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if my voice sounded like an absolute dog, because I still am sick. Thank you so much for watching. Please check in for the next video, and watch the rest of them. Whatever. I have all these teams that you're seeing up here. I have predicted them. Okay, I've done 8